Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about zero waste grocery hauls and food deserts. It's going to be fun. If you're new here, which is my second video, so you're almost certainly new here. I make videos about sustainability, accessibility, mindfulness, and just generally being kind to ourselves, others, and the planet. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, then make sure you like this video and then hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss another one. So I've been interested in the low waste, low impact sustainability movement for about 2 years now, and I've seen my fair share of zero waste grocery haul videos. And I am absolutely not knocking anyone who's made those videos. I obviously enjoy watching those videos, and they've inspired me to buy my groceries as low plastic, low packaging as I can, which has been huge for my own personal sustainability journey. I just wanted to use this video to call attention to the fact that being able to do a zero waste or low waste grocery haul, there's a lot of privilege that goes into that. And honestly, most aspects of a sustainable lifestyle are only possible with large amounts of privilege. What a lot of us disregard is the fact that there are many folks, and especially folks of color, who are disproportionately living without access to nutritional foods. So while I have 3 grocery stores within walking distance and I think 2 farmers markets that I can walk to, where I can buy all my fresh produce without plastic, without packaging, there are so many people living in food deserts where they can't buy fresh food, period. If you've never heard of a food desert, it is an area that has little to no access to quality, affordable food. And these deserts have been created through economic inequality and systemic racism. Political activist and community organizer Karen Washington said in a 2018 article that she is opposed to using the expression food desert, which she calls an outsider term that calls desolate places, rather than places with enormous potential, to mind. She prefers food apartheid, which brings us to the more important question: what are some of the social inequalities that you see, and what are you doing to erase some of the injustices? These food apartheids and wealth gaps were created from a past of discriminatory acts like restrictive covenants and redlining. A restrictive covenant was a provision in leases that prohibited the sales of houses to Black people and other minorities, which resulted in heavily segregated areas. In 1934, redlining was introduced, which refused insurance for homes in Black communities. This policy was overturned a few decades later, but the effects are still widely felt. Even when supermarkets and grocery stores are promised to be built in these segregated and low-income neighborhoods, they're often empty words. 32 new supermarkets were pledged to be built in the damaged neighborhoods after the LA riots back in the 90s, and in the end only a handful were built, and many of those even were abandoned, and a lot of the supermarkets that were already serving the community had to shut down due to market concentration. Other stores that were meant to operate in these neighborhoods decided that they would rather serve high-end clientele and closed the stores that they deemed undesirable. There's a book called Food Justice that I will link below, and if you're ever buying books, I highly recommend finding a small bookshop in your neighborhood if you can. Just don't buy from Amazon if you don't have to, please. So this book said that as a consequence of this supermarket flight, It created these grocery gaps, which became food deserts. At the time this book was written, about 10 years ago, I think, there was a group organized by Project Cafe, and it took a bunch of students and residents in the neighborhood, and they went around and they mapped out all the places they could buy food in the area. And of the 1,200 places that they mapped, fast food restaurants made up 29%, convenience and liquor stores made up 22%, and less than 2% were full-service supermarkets. And because most of the food that was being bought was from convenience and liquor stores, that meant that a lot of this food was low quality and not nutritious. And we know that eating these foods is just going to add to problems such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses and diseases and problems that are only going to cost more in the long run, because you're racking up hospital bills and medication bills, which only adds to the financial burden. Another example I want to highlight is the Navajo Nation, which is the, I believe, second largest Native American tribe. And way back when westward expansion was happening, these people were forced to leave their homes, and they were given, so generous, a plot of land to call their own. And the US government promised them support and services, but the Navajo Nation, as it stands today, has obviously not received that support because they only have 13 grocery stores. 13. To paint a better picture of this, just to give you the full story, the Navajo Nation is over 27,000 square miles. That's about the size of West Virginia, and has a population of over 170,000. 13 grocery stores. So here in the Chicagoland area where I live, there is a suburb called Austin, which is 84% black, I believe. And until recently, the residents have had to travel over a mile to get to the nearest grocery store. This year, however, a supermarket called 40 Acres Fresh Market has opened, literally in the last couple months, I think, in order to bring an end to the food apartheid in Austin. It's the first Black-owned supermarket in the area, and it has an amazing program called Get One, Give One, where you can buy your own fresh produce box, and then if you're able to, pay for another fresh produce box that will go to someone in need, which is just a beautiful thing. The founder, Elizabeth Abenoff, first came to Austin in 2016, and she noticed that there were no banks, no pharmacies, and no grocery stores. And she thought that was strange. And then she visited Lincoln Park, which is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods here, and 79% white, and was able to find plenty of fresh food, and some of it was even on sale. Which, isn't that just a swift kick in the pants? So it is great that more stores like this are popping up in areas that is so loud. It's great that there are so many grocery stores and supermarkets that are starting to crop up in these places that desperately need access to healthy and affordable food. But if you want to help, there are other ways that you can besides opening a grocery store, which, I don't know you, maybe that's something you can do. I don't think I can, but if you can, that's great. You should do it. Check to see if there's a local farming network or urban farms in your area that you can either donate to or volunteer for, as these programs really help with food security. I'll leave a link that has a list of a bunch of organizations like these that you can check out, but I also encourage you to do your own research to see what's nearest you, what's close to home. Another idea is to start a community garden or donate your supplies or time to one that is already established. Not only do these community gardens help locals gain access to fresh food, but there's a lot of research that shows that gardening can also improve your physical and mental health. Another idea is that you can volunteer at and donate to food pantries and food banks. So food banks are the warehouses where all the donated food is stored, and then food pantries are the ones that distribute it out to the ones who need it. I will put a link to a database where you can search for food banks and food pantries near you. I have one for the US and I believe I have one for the UK as well. And if you live elsewhere, the internet's a great tool. I'm currently in grad school, and both my greater university and the specific program I am in have little food pantries in different buildings that are open to students. So you can either check to see if there's one if you're still in school at your own university or high school or wherever you are, or you can be the person to start one. So to recap, I am not hating on zero waste grocery shopping. I mean, I do it as often as I can, or at least produce as little waste as I can when it comes to getting my own food. But I think it's extremely important to talk about why this isn't accessible to everyone, and that it adds to the unattainability that surrounds the sustainability, zero waste, low impact movement. If we're going to promote plastic-free and package-free grocery shopping, we first need to fight for everyone's right to basic needs like food. We can't have climate justice without social and racial justice. I really hope you liked this video. I know it was a long one, it was a lot of information, but it's something that I find really important. And if you have any other ideas of how we can help with food insecurity, please feel free to share them below. I am always open for more ideas. And I hope that you have a lovely day. Again, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell if you want more of these. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.